The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Right? We talked about it last time. How mind is our biggest enemy. Okay. So, Rajya Lakshmi, please read this.
Purport.
Yes.
In this verse, the identity of the living being is clearly given. The living entity is the fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord eternally. It is not that he assumes individuality in his conditioned life and in his liberated state becomes one with the Supreme Lord. He is eternally fragmented. It is clearly said, Sanadanaha, according to the Vedic version, the Supreme Lord manifests and expands himself in innumerable expansions, of which the primary expansions are called Vishnu Tattva and the secondary expansions are called the living entities. In other words, the Vishnu Tattva is the personal expansion and the living entities are the separated expansions. By his personal expansion, he is manifested in various forms like Lord Rama, Nrisimhadeva, Vishnumurti, and all the predominating deities in the Vaikuntha planets. The separated expansions, the living entities, are eternally servitors. The personal expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the individual entities of the Godhead, are always present. Similarly, the separated expansions of living entities have their identities. As fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, the living entities also have fragmented portions of his qualities, of which independence is one. Every living entity as an individual soul has his personal individuality and a minute form of independence. By misuse of that independence, one becomes a conditioned soul, and by proper use of independence, he is always liberated. In either case, he is qualitatively eternal, as as the Supreme Lord is. In his liberated state, he is freed from his material condition, and he is under the engagement of transcendental service unto the Lord. In his conditioned life, he is dominated by the material modes of nature and he forgets the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As a result, he has to struggle very hard to maintain his existence in the material world.
Yeah. So we are dominated by material modes. So instead of us dominating the modes are dominating us. And then we talked about Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva last time. So you have a little bit of knowledge there. Okay, continue, please. The living entities.
The living entities, not only human beings and the cats and dogs, but even the greater controllers of the material world, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and even Vishnu are all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. They are all eternal, not temporary manifestations. The word kashati, struggling or grappling hard, is very significant. The conditioned soul is bound up as though shackled by iron chains. He is bound up by the false ego. And the mind is the chief agent which is driving him in this material existence. When the mind is in the mode of goodness, his activities are good. When the mind is in the mode of passion, his activities are troublesome. And when the mind is in the mode of ignorance, he travels in the lower species of life. It is clear, however, in this verse that the conditioned soul is covered by the material body with the mind and the senses, and 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 when he is liberated, this material covering perishes, but his spiritual body manifests itself in his individual capacity. The following information is there in Madhyandinayana Shruti. Sava Isha Brahma Nishta Idam Shariram Martyam Atishjaya Brahma Bisampadya Brahmana Pashyati Brahmana Shrunoti Brahmanai Vedam sarvam anubhavati. It is stated here that when a living entity gives up this material embodiment and enters into the spiritual world, he revives his spiritual body, and in his spiritual body, he can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. He can hear and speak to him face to face, and he can understand the Supreme Personality as he is. From Smriti also it is understood, Vasanti yatra purushaha sarve vaikunta murtayaha. In the spiritual planets, everyone lives in bodies featured like the Supreme Personality of Godheads. As far as bodily construction is concerned, there is no difference between the part and parcel living entities and the expansions of Vishnumurti. In other words, at liberation, the living entity gets a spiritual body by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The words Mamai Vamsha, fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, are also very significant. The fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord is not like some material broken part. We have already understood in the second chapter that the spirit have already understood that the spirit cannot be cut into pieces. This fragment is not materially conceived. It is not like matter which can be cut into pieces and joined together again. That conception is not applicable here because the Sanskrit word sanadana, eternal, is used. The fragmental portion is eternal. It is also stated in the beginning of the second chapter that in each and every individual body, the fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord is present. Dehino asmin yata dehe. That fragmental portion, when liberated from the bodily entanglement, revives his original spiritual body in the spiritual sky, in a spiritual planet, and enjoys association with the Supreme Lord. It is, however, understood here that the living entity, being the fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is qualitatively one with the Lord, just as the parts and parcels of gold are also gold.
Yeah, so
Hare
they're very,
Krishna.
very important points. One is Mame Vamsho Jiva Loke, which means that we are part and parcel of the Lord, but at the same time, it's not like some broken piece of, some toy or something like that separated. No, it is not like matter. This is Sanatana, eternal. So his fragment comes as us in a separate body. So that's one concept. Second is, in spiritual planet, everybody lives in bodies like the Supreme Personality. So we will also, once we are purified, we go back and attain four-handed Vishnu forms in the spiritual world. That's one other thing. Vasanti yatra purushaha sarva vaikunta murtayaha. So we are just like the Purushaha, means the Supreme Lord, in the Vaikunta. In the Murtaya. Murtaya means the forms that we have in Vaikunta are just like the Purushaha, means the Supreme Lord. Living entity gives the material embodiment and enters into spiritual world where he revives his spiritual body. That's called Swarupa Siddhi. Rupa means form, Swarupa means our original form, and Siddhi means attainment. So that is the real Siddhi, coming back to our original form. A lot of people say, yeah, I've attained Siddhi on this planet, but that's useless. You are still not gone to your Swarupa. Swarupa is there only in the spiritual world. So it's not like we become God. We get body like God, right? So he's still always superior to us, but we are we begin to look like him. So that is the understanding, which means we are not affected by modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Karshati means struggling. Everybody is struggling. So that's the verse here. What does it say? Okay, let's repeat again. Mamevamsho jivaloke.
Mamaivamsho jivaloke
Jivabhutah sanatanah.
jiva bhutah sanatanaha
Manah shastri indriyani.
manashas
शस्त्रेन्द्रियाणि
Prakritistani karshate.
prakriti shani karshati
Karshati. Karshati means we are all struggling in this Prakriti. Prakriti means nature, right? In material nature, we are situated. Sthani. Sthanam. Sthanam means place. Sthani means being in that place, right? Prakriti sthani karshati.
Prabhu, I have a question, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Uddhava is supposed to look exactly like Lord Krishna, right? Except for the Kaustubha jewel and all that.
Correct.
But and sometimes it's also mentioned that Krishna is to give the Kaustubha jewel to Uddhava as well. So was Uddhava in Swarupa Siddhi already when he was in Dwarka?
Sorry, what was the last part? Repeat, please.
Because we saw the Swarupa Siddhi, right? So when we go, if and when we go to the spiritual world, we will also attain the same forms as Lord Vishnu. So did Uddhava get Swarupa Siddhi while he was still in this universe? Because of which he looked
Yeah,
exactly like Lord.
Uddhava is an associate of the Lord, right? So it doesn't mean
Right.
whether he has Swarupa Siddhi here or there. So it appears that he never lost his Swarupa Siddhi, even though he descended here.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. So basically, when the Lord comes with his associates, some of the associates may have the same powers that they had back in the spiritual world. So it is a complex topic, and the Goswamis have written a lot about that thing. But I don't think we are in a position to kind of comprehend that or discuss that at our condition level. So we have to
Okay.
read some of the Goswami literature to get more details, but it appears so that they never lost their original spiritual form. Actually, if you look at the four sons of Krishna, right? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says that the original Chatur Vyuha expansion, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna and Vasudeva came as four sons of Krishna. So the original four expansions of the Goloka Krishna, which is the basis for Narayana, which is the basis for Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, were also there simultaneously with the Lord in Dwarka as his four sons. So now materialistically you can think, hey, Krishna is like you and me. He also had four. I mean, he had a lot of kids, of course. He had, how many kids did Krishna have? Anybody know?
10 kids with all his wives.
Yeah, and how many wives?
16,108.
100.
Yeah, 16,108 wives. And then 10 kids with each wife. But apparently there were 4 kids who were directly from the spiritual world. Chaitanya Charitamrita says this. Right? In the very first chapter, it mentions that there are 4 forms: Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna. And if you see Mahabharata stories, right? In one of them, Pradyumna takes weapons and he starts fighting. So it's there. The original spiritual associates of the Lord were also there. But they didn't take the primary roles like Arjuna, Bhima, Yudhishthira, Nakula, Sahadeva. They were also there, but they didn't take the primary roles. But the Lord's energies were already there in form of his kids. Supposedly material kids, but no, they are his expansions from the spiritual world. So yeah, there is a lot of research we can do to understand that Swarupa Siddhi is possible. And again, maybe that is the Lord's plan, right? To show that Swarupa Siddhi is a real thing. And you see some of his energies were already there along with him, coexisting with him in the short duration. See, Lord stayed on the planet only for 125 years. That is like a fraction of a second from the Goloka perspective. It's like less than the time it takes to blink your eyelids. Fraction of a second from a Goloka time perspective. So he spent just little time here. That's it. So yeah, we have to understand these things from a Shastra Chakshu perspective, eyes of the Shastra. But here, this is very important. We are struggling with our senses. So let's focus on how not to struggle with our senses, right? Everybody, I struggle with my senses. So many of the devotees that I know, they also reveal that they struggle with their senses. So how do we do that? We have to take shelter of the Lord. Here he is giving the problem. Krishna doesn't give the solution here yet, right? For that, we have to go to the upcoming verses. Is that okay? Kritika Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you,
Yeah.
Prabhu.
Okay. So, Shariram Yad Avapnoti.
शरीरं यदवाप्नोति
Yachapi Utkramatiswaraha.
यच्चाभियुत्पत्तीश्वरः
Utkramatiswaraha.
This is an interesting word. Utkramatiswaraha. How many words are there in this? Anybody can tell me?
Three, Prabhu. Three.
Yeah, 3. What are those 3?
उत्क्रामति ईश्वर.
Yeah, actually there are 4. Krama means step by step. Utkrama, so there is a qualifying that. Ati means something higher than. Ishvaraha, Supreme Lord. Right? So there are actually 4 words. Very interesting, long word. So here, Srila Prabhupada translates Utkramati as giving up. Krama means a structured way, right? Utkrama means something that is not super structured. Ati means you're crossing that. Utkrama means you're crossing that structured way. Right? So what are we doing? What are we crossing here? You are crossing that structured way of the body, which means it is like liberation, right? Shariram yadavapnoti, shariram body. You get a body, right? And then you give up. For what? For the purpose of the Supreme Lord. Let's see how Srila Prabhupada translates. And then how? Like Vayu Gandham. So just like how the scent, like you spray from your scent bottle, perfume bottle, you don't have to do anything. The air will carry the aroma and the fragrance to the neighboring room, right? That's how we travel between bodies. So the living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to other. So we have a certain conception of life. I am a girl, I am a boy, I am a South Indian, I am an engineer, right? So these subtle conceptions get carried from one body to the next. And we have to fight it actually. We have to get over those conceptions. So Srila Rupa Goswami mentions this in the Nectar of Devotion. He says, Sarva Upadi Vinirmuktam. Vinirmuktam. Muktam means you should be liberated from all conceptions. That is the definition of liberation. So as long as we have a conception, I am a boy, I am a girl. Like for example, I have this conception, right? I am a South Indian male who lives in America and works in the IT field. All these are conceptions. So lack of conception means I should not think of myself as a male or female. I should not think of myself as a South Indian. I should not think of myself as working in IT field, right? All these are barriers to liberation. Sarva Upadi Vinirmuktam means you have to be relieved from all these upadhis. And how? Krishna says, as the air carries aromas, as I said, right? You spray some spray bottle like a perfume or air freshener, the whole room gets filled up very quickly. How? Air is taking it. Thus he takes one kind of body and quits it to take another. Punarapi maranam, punarapi janam. Keep on taking bodies. Why? Because of this nasty thing called conceptions. So if you don't have any conception, who are you? I'm a servant of Krishna. That's it. I mean, it's very difficult to say, but one person said it. Who said it? Very nicely said it. Anybody? Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada said it. In his passport, they had a place for profession. You know what he wrote there? What would you write there, Kritika Mataji? If somebody asked you to put a profession?
Sri Rama Bhakta is what I would like to write, but I usually write project manager also.
That's my point, right? Yeah. So, what would you write, Swati?
Provision Prabhu, like as I'm doing nothing, like housemaker, I'll write Prabhu.
Yeah, housemaker. So you identify yourself as housemaker. Shiva, what would you write if there is an application form where you said profession? Shiva, can you hear me?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sorry,
Yeah.
you want me to read this?
No. What would you write if you had to write your profession in an application form? Say something. There's no right or wrong
I'll say
answer.
soft.
Huh? Would you say something like software engineer or product
Something
designer
like
or
that.
something? Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what
Mhm.
Srila Prabhupada wrote in his passport? Servant of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Because he's really thinking like that, right? He's thinking, I am a servant of my Guru. I'll go to America and preach as he ordered me, preach Krishna consciousness. Right? That is called Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam. He could have written so many things. He had a bachelor's degree, BA degree. Back then, very few people in India had bachelor's degrees, right? We are talking about 1940s and 50s. You could count people with bachelor's degrees like in the
Prabhuji, right now also there are gurus and disciples currently in India and everywhere also.
What do you mean they're currently? I'm a disciple of my Guru. So I'm a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Vikasa Swami, who is a disciple of Swami Prabhupada, who is a disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So you're talking to
No,
one
like an
disciple.
ashram and all, like an ashram.
Yeah, I'm in an ashram. Don't you think I'm in an ashram? I'm in an ashram and
Okay.
I'm teaching Bhagavad Gita right now. The ashram happens to be a nice house in Sammamish, but this is also an ashram. And I am a teacher. And I have my Guru, who has his Guru, like that. So it's not like right now, is it there? It is there, very much there, right in front of you. You're talking to one. I'm a disciple. Right? So it's this thing never goes away, actually. You may think it goes away, but it never goes away. Like when I went to Himalayas, there was one Gaudiya Mutt temple. We went there. There was one Guru giving class. He had only 2 disciples who were sitting there attentively and listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. So this continues even till today. And it is continuing, it will continue. Someday, some of you will take up this process of teaching Bhagavad Gita to the next generation. Like Kritika is already teaching Ramayana, she will also teach Bhagavad Gita shortly to a lot of people. And then somebody will ask in Australia, oh, is this process still continuing? Then Kritika will say, you are looking at one. I am the one who is teaching you, and you will teach to somebody else. So this process will continue. It will never stop. Right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Yare deke tare kaha Krishna upadesh. Hamare ajnaye e guru teresh. Which means that whoever you see, you talk about Krishna. If you do that, then you are a guru. So a guru is one who talks about God. That's it. End of story. Right? If somebody is capable of talking about God, he or she has already come to that platform. Yare dekhe. Something like this. Let me see. Say Bengali saying. Now there is some movie in that name. That's why I'm saying all this nonsense. Yare deke tare kahe Krishna upadesh. Like one day, Mike, who is on the call, will also be a guru. He has taken shelter of Hanumata Prasak Maharaj, and he'll get initiated. And before he dies, he will teach this knowledge to a few people. Done. So someday Mike will also be a guru. Others, and I know, like Kritika Mata is also thinking of taking initiation, so she'll be a guru at some point. Others will also. Maybe Shiva will take someday once he's convinced. Today Shiva is still thinking, should I take it or not? Is this really true? Or is this all fairy tales? He's on the he's on the
Hare
boundary
Krishna,
line.
Prabhu.
So, but someday he'll be convinced. Right? So that's the verse. The knowledge is there. We just have to seek. Like with the very fundamental thing about Bible is seek and you shall receive. If you don't seek, how will you receive the knowledge? यारे देके तारे कहा कृष्ण उपदेश हमारे अज्ञाय गुरु हाय तारा ए देश. Instruct everyone to follow the order of Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. The coherent purpose of Lord Ramachandra, Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to teach human society how to be happy following the instructions of the Supreme Lord. Right? What is the purpose of Rama or Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? To teach everyone. This is what Srila Prabhupada said. When did he say this? In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, 8.1.16. He says that. Right? So it's all there. And actually, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which Shiva also ordered one copy. So Shiva, did you send me a check or how are you going to make the payment?
Through PayPal, Prabhu.
Okay, yeah.
PayPal, Prabhu.
You have the address, so do it at your convenience.
Address, I was waiting for your...
Not address. I mean like the PayPal ID.
Oh, ID. Okay, fine then.
VCC108@live.com. I put it on
Got
the
it,
chat the other day, right? Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
Prabhu.
can do it. So the book that you have taken, that has this one, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. Madhya Leela means middle volume. 7th
Even
chapter.
for me, Prabhuji, Chaitanya Charitamrita, you told you'd send me.
Okay, I will get one for you also. So, which language you want, English or Tamil?
English.
English. Okay. Yeah, actually, your English is very good. So you should go for English. Yeah. So, and then our friend here, Nagaprabhu, also requested a Tamil one. And I haven't yet pursued that, Nagaprabhu, but I will do so. I'm collecting all the numbers and then at one point I will kind of make a mass order.
Okay.
So Chaitanya Charitamrita in the Madhya Leela, middle volume, 7th chapter, 128th verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, instruct everyone to follow the orders of Sri Krishna. Yare deke tare kaha. Then if you do that, what will happen? You will become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone. Hamare ajnaya guru hoy tara e desh. A desh means this country, desh. Hamara ajnaya guru means if you follow this order, then you will become a guru. So everybody can, it is equal opportunity to become a guru. Yesterday in my class, they were asking me, when is Kalki coming? So I put a picture of Kalki here. And in Kali Yuga, the 3 legs of the bull are killed. Satyam, Saucham, Kshama, Daya. Only Satyam is little left, but Saucham, Kshama and Daya, the 3 legs of the Dharma are already finished. And I was also talking about different kinds of hells, right? If somebody is always eating meat, they'll be roasted in fire in the hell. If somebody cheats other people, their ruru animals will eat his flesh. If somebody drinks alcohol, molten lead will be poured in their throats in the hellish planets, like that. So there's so much information there. And here is one other artist's demonstration of hells. So this artist put together 3 hills into one. In one hell there are rurus. In one hell there are snakes. In other hell they are dragged by Yamadutas in a certain way, like that. So all 3 have been put in the same diagram. And this picture is half Buddha, half Shankaracharya. So in the Padma Purana, Lord Shiva tells his wife Parvati Devi, Mayavadam asas shastram prichan bhaudam uchyate mayeva kalpitam devim. He says, in the age of Kali, I'll appear in the form of a Brahmana to preach the false doctrine of Mayavad. So Mayavadam is actually false. Like so many organizations right now, like the Nityananda, Ramakrishna Mission, so many people are teaching Mayavad. But that is because Lord Shiva himself introduced this practice to confuse people. right? And then there is second verse, Vedarthan Mahashastram Mayavadam Avaidikam Mayaiva Katitam Devi Jagatam Nasa Karanat. The powerful doctrine of Mayavad resembles the Vedas, but is by nature non-Vedic. It looks like Veda, but it is non-Vedic. That's why I was encouraging people not to go to these Brahma Kumaris and all that, because it looks like the Veda. They will talk of Krishna, they'll talk of everything, but somehow subtly they will introduce the philosophy of Mayavad, which Lord Shiva himself introduced, right? But then Shiva is telling Parvati the secret. I'll appear in form of a Brahmana to preach the false doctrine of Mayavad, which is simply covered Buddhism. So one artist made this picture. Right hand is, at least to my right, is Buddha, half Buddha, and to my left is half Shankaracharya. Right? So we have to understand all these things. They have a philosophical basis. You cannot just believe anything in the name of Hinduism. There's so much contamination also in place. Okay, let's come back. Okay, Kritika Mataji, can you read this Sanskrit and the translation?
Sure, Prabhu. Hold on one second. Let me go back to your content. Shrotram
Rotram
Chakshuhu
Chakshuhu
Sparshanam Cha
Sparshanam Cha
Rasanam
Rasanam
Granam
Dhranam
Evacha
Evacha
Adhishthaya
Adhisthaya
Aditya
Manaschayam
Manashayam
Vishayan
Vishaya
Vishayan
Upasevate.
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 You want me to go to synonyms, Prabhu?
No,
Or
translation.
translation? The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Haribol?
Yes. So, Swati Mataji, please read the purport.
Yes, Prabhu. In other words, if the living entity adulterates his consciousness with the qualities of cats and dogs, in his next life he gets a cat or dog body and enjoys. Consciousness is originally pure like water, but if we mix water with a certain color, it changes. Similarly, consciousness is pure, for the spirit soul is pure. But consciousness is changed according to the association of the material qualities. Sorry, did I miss somewhere?
No,
Consciousness is according to the association of the material qualities. Real consciousness is Krishna consciousness. When therefore one is situated in Krishna consciousness, he is in his pure life. But if his consciousness is adulterated by some type of material mentality, in the next life he gets a corresponding body. He does not necessarily get a human body again. He can get the body of a cat, dog, hog, demigod, or one of many other forms. For there are 8.4 million species.
yes. So, yeah, we know this from Srila Prabhupada's translations earlier. So, we can end up in one of the 8.4 million species. So, although consciousness is originally pure, like water, but if you put some color, if you put blue color, it becomes blue. Red color, it becomes red. Similarly, consciousness is pure, for the spirit's soul is pure. However, when we associate with material qualities, then it becomes adulterated. It's not like it becomes totally impure. The purity is still there inside, but it's adulterated. Means the pure white soul starts looking like red soul or yellow soul, something like that, right? So there is a little bit of change in our consciousness. So when we are adulterating it with this material mentality, then we'll get a body of a dog or a cat or a pig. Hog is a pig. Or a devata. I mean, if it's adulterated with mode of goodness, then we may become a devata, right? So either an animal or a human or a devata or demigod. So the choice is ours. We have to be very careful. Utkramantam
Utkramantam
stitam vapi
Sthitam vapi
bunjanam
bunjanam
vagunanvitam
vagunanvitam
vimudam
vimuda
nanupashyanti
nanupashyanti
pashyanti
pashyanti
jnanachakshusah.
jnanachakshusah.
The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body enjoys under the spell of modes of material nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. So we discussed this last time. If I'm not mistaken, we have a presentation also, right? Where we talked about how this spell we talked about this last time. So there is a spell of mode of material nature. Goodness is contentment, passion is pride, honor, ignorance is laziness. And we went through the slippery slope from mode of passion to mode of ignorance. It's a slippery slope. So I'll skip on to the next one. Yatanto
Yatanto
yoginas
yoginas
chainam
chainam
pashyanti
pashyanti
atmani
atmani
avasthitam
avasthitam
yatanto
yatanto
api
api
akritatmano
akritatmano
nainam
nainam
pashyanti
pashyanti
achetasah.
achetasaha.
So the endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see this clearly. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try. So a common man cannot understand this, while a transcendentalist can understand it. So Shiva, can you please?
Hare Krishna. Purport. There are many transcendentalists on the path of spiritual self-realization, but one who is not situated in self-realization cannot see how things are changing in the body of the living entity. The word yogina is significant in this connection. In the present day, there are many so-called yogis and there are many so-called associations of yogis, but they are actually blind in the matter of self-realization. They are simply addicted to some sort of gymnastic exercise and are satisfied if the body is well built and healthy. They have no other information. They are called yathanto api akratmana. Even though they are endeavoring in a so-called yoga system, they are not self-realized. Such people cannot understand the process of the transmigration of the soul. Only those who are actually in the yoga system and have realized the self, the world, and the Supreme Lord. In other words, Bhakti yogis, those engaged in pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness, can understand how things are taking place.
Yeah. So we want to be Bhakti yogis, being engaged in devotional service Hopefully it is pure devotional service, not mixed with karma and jnana, because a lot of times people do devotional service with karma, means they want something back, or jnana, they want to understand how things are. But if we are engaged in pure devotional service, we can understand how things are taking place. But the vast majority of the people cannot understand the transmigration, the process of transmigration of the soul. They'll think that this is all some kind of fairy tale. Yadaditya gatam tejo
Yadaditya-gatam tejo
jagad bhashyate akhilam
jagat bhashyate akilam
yak chandramsi yak chagnam
yat-chandramasi yat-chagnau
tattejo vidhi mamakam.
tat-tejo vid.
Okay. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness, comes from me. Splendor of the moon and splendor of fire also from me. So we also discussed this last time, where we talk about how there is only one sun for every universe. We need to fire to prepare food, and that comes from the sun's energy. And vegetables grow because of the presence of the moon. By moonshine, all vegetables are nourished. Moonshine is so pleasing that people can easily understand that they are living by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In one of the Shastra, it is said sun and moon are like two eyes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the other Shastras, it is mentioned that the sun and moon will only move because of the will of the Lord. Maya Adhyakshana Prakriti in Sri Bhagavad Gita. Suyate Sacharacharam. Like the moving and the non-moving living entities move about because of the order of the Supreme, or at least the superintendence. He may not directly order every day, you move, but he says, this is the expectation, now you got to move. And then therefore, sun and moon basically move. So without his mercy, they cannot be fire, and without the help of sun, moon and fire, no one can live, right? Without the Lord's mercy, there cannot be any fire. Without the help of sun, moon, and fire, no one can live. How can we live? Like in a few days of continuous cold and you're already pretty depressed. Then one day sun comes out, then you say, okay, now again there is reason to live. Otherwise, we'll be pretty depressed actually, and in a pretty bad state of affairs. But the Lord is actually making us live. The three modes of material nature. Without those three modes, you cannot even function, right? Without passion, you will not even get out of your bed and start walking. So a little bit of mode of passion is okay. But when it goes out of whack, what happens? All of a sudden, you'll dance like a monkey. You'll say, oh, yeah, I will do this, I will do that. I will start a factory, I will start a company, or I will jump between the companies. I will buy this stock, I'll sell that stock. So all that is mode of passion. So that excessive is dangerous, but little bit is necessary. Little bit of mode of ignorance is also necessary. Otherwise, you will not sleep. If you are continuously in passion, right, 24/7 you'll be awake and you'll be doing money making activities. A little bit of mode of ignorance is required so that you go to sleep. But when it becomes more, what happens? Nidralasya. It's too much sleep and too much laziness, right? But a lot of goodness is required. But unfortunately, we have more of ignorance, more of passion, and little bit of goodness. We have to flip the coin. We have to have more of goodness so that we can understand the subject matter and get out. If we have a lot of goodness, then your ignorance, there is no space, right? There's only so much space. So ignorance will go down, passion will go down, and then you will aspire for something higher. And that higher aspiration is Shuddha Sattva, Vishuddha Sattva, Vasudeva Sattva. That will take us out of this material world. So it's a science actually. It's a very, very beautiful science. Reduce ignorance, reduce passion, increase goodness. That will take you to pure goodness. And then like a rocket, you will take off. Never to come back again here. गामाविश्य च भूतानि
आविश्य स भूतानि
धारयामि अहमोजस
धारयाम्यहम् ओजसा
उष्णामि चौषधिः सर्वः
पुष्णामि चौषधी सर्वा
सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः.
सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः.
Rasa means juice. Rasa also means feelings, mellows that you have with Krishna, right? So they are dual meanings. And he says, I enter into each planet and by my energy they stay in orbit, right? What is the explanation of modern scientists about why things stay in orbit? Anybody know?
Gravity.
Gravity. But one of the ISKCON Swamis was telling when I went to Croatia, he says there's nothing called gravity. So there is a formula for that. Anybody remember this planetary attraction formula? From your 10th class in high school. You don't remember? This is it. The mass of the first, the mass of the second, multiplied by gravitational constant divided by r, the radius. You don't remember this? So this is the scientist's view of how two things come close to each other, right? But what does Krishna say? They are there because of my will. Maya Adhyakshana Prakriti Suyate Sa Characharam. Chara means moving, Acharam means non-moving. Under my supervision, everything is happening. These people come up with some, okay, the mass of this is m1, mass of this is m2, multiply the two, divided by the distance square, multiply by gravitational constant, blah, blah, blah. And somehow they come up with some theory like that, Kakamemi theory. Right? So maybe that works, right? Maybe the formula works, but who created that formula and under whose supervision that is running? That is important. When a dead body, when it's decomposed, it flows like a straw. As soon as a man is dead, no, sorry, but as soon as a man is dead, he at once sinks into the water. After a while, because there is too much decomposition, it again floats. Similarly, all these planets are floating in space, and this is due to the entrance of the supreme energy of the Supreme Personality. Right? So why are they floating in space? They are floating because of the energy of the Supreme Person. So this is the Kepler's equation, and then this is the Bhagavad Gita equation. Bhagavad Gita equation is that it happens because of Krishna. Everything happens of Krishna, right? So after a while, you'll be bored. What is this? Always, anything that comes, we only say Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. How is this possible? It is the way it is. Without him, nothing will move. What are you going to do? Here, Krishna gives the answer. These planets which are floating in the air are actually held in the fist of the universal form of Supreme Lord. Get it? Actually held by the fist of the Virata or Vishwarupa. So this is what you will write in the test when I ask you to write. Why is it floating in the air? Not because of Kepler's equation. This is called Kepler's planetary motion or something like that. Planetary motion. Anyway, you can research your physics. Especially if you have kids and you're doing their homework, you will relearn all these things. So now let's go to Vishwarupa, Virat Rupa. Familiar? Have you everybody seen these diagrams before? Here the head is cut off, so it's not a good diagram. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So this universe is in this fist, according to this particular verse. It's in his fist, somewhere here. But again, there are different models even in Shastras. Sometimes sun and moon are described as his two eyes. Sometimes our universe is described in his fist. Sometimes the universe is described as his entire body. But regardless, they're all correct explanations, because ultimately nothing is separate from the Lord. So whether it's in the fist or in his navel or anywhere, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Where it is doesn't matter. Because of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sun is shining and planets are steadily moving. Otherwise, planets would scatter just like dust in air. So this is one way to understand that gravity is caused, or whatever that force is caused, by Supreme Lord. Gravity doesn't exist from a material perspective, but it is still the Lord's energy. Just like, if you buy a toy race car, the cars are not going randomly. They'll go on a track. Similarly, here, the planets are going in a particular path determined by the Lord. Rasatmaka is very significant. Everything becomes palatable, means tasty. Where does your spinach have one taste? Your gongura has different taste. And your kale has different taste. Why? Because they are three different rasas. All three look very similar. Green in color, coming from the ground, but very different tastes. Gongura is sour, spinach is flat, and kale has a strong taste to it. Right? They're all coming from the same ground. They're all grown in Western Washington, but very different tastes. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva
Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva
Praninam Dehamashritah
Praninam Dehamashritah
Pranapana Samayuktah
Pranapana Samayuktah
Pachami Annam Chaturvidam.
Pachami Annam Chaturvidam.
So what are the four forms of food according to Ayurveda? Anybody know?
Something that can be chewed or
Yeah,
drained.
correct. Yeah. Ashita, eatables. Pita, liquid food. Khadita and lida, masticable, means chewed. That is chewed, that it is licked, linctus, that it is drunk, and that it is eaten. Four different types. Right? And this comes from Acharya Charaka, who was one of the Acharyas who kind of gave this knowledge. Ultimately, all knowledge comes from Krishna. It doesn't come from Charaka or anybody. It comes from Supreme Lord Krishna. Ashita, eatables. Pita, liquid food. Khadita, that is licked. And lida, masticable, means chewed. This is a very big word, mastication, but it's actually chewing. Eaten directly. like that. So even Western scientists are using the same terminology. This is from Gujarat actually. These teachers are from Jamnagar and various places in Gujarat. So they wrote this paper, right? Ahara, diet, nidra, sleep, and brahmacharya are recognized as 3 upastambhas, sub-pillar essential for smooth running. What does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? The same verse, similar verse. Yuktahara viharasya yukta karmasu chesasu. Remember? So body is composed of Pancha Mahabhutas and you have these 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So the balance of this, when it goes out of whack, then you fall sick. Ultimately, the biggest sickness is having a body, because we have a material body. That itself is the biggest sickness. We are supposed to have a spiritual body. So we are all sick people right now. If I say like this in public, they'll beat me up. But actually that is true. We are all sick people. This is a nice link. Let me copy this link. There's a lot of good stuff written about Ayurveda. The amount of food which, without disturbing the equilibrium of dhatus or doshas, get digested as well as metabolized in proper time is to be regarded as proper quantity. So we eat too much in America, especially because food is widely available, right? So when I was growing up, we didn't have so much food. Here, food, continuous food in America. Before your lunch digests, they'll bring snack when you're in office. And before the snack digests, they'll bring in dinner. Continuous eating. And there are different kinds of rasas, tastes. You see, rasa, the term that Krishna uses in Bhagavad Gita. Sour, amla, sweet, madhura, pungent, katu. So, etc. There are different definitions that these people are giving. Hitahara, hita ahara means wholesome. Ahit, if you add in Sanskrit word, it becomes opposite. Unwholesome means opposite of wholesome, like that. So here what they recommend is amalaki, Indian gooseberry, usirikai, because this is very healthy. Usirikai alone can cure half the diseases in the body. Whenever something goes bad, anybody asks Arulas Maharaj what to take, he says, okay, take some of the triphala, which is a combination of amalaki and then what else? There are 2 other things. That's why it's called triphala. There are 3 phalas in there. Right? Anyway, it's not an Ayurvedic class, but you should learn these things. It's good for you. Pachami annam chaturvidam. Annam in Telugu, rice is called annam. Why? Because in Sanskrit that's what it's called. Annam means food. Rice or wheat or dal, everything is annam. And even in our Prashadam mantra we say, right? What do we say? Swaprasade anadilebai se anna amrita pavo Radha Krishna guna gao. This anna is like amrit. When it's offered to Krishna, it becomes amrit or nectar, ambrosia. Okay, I think you know this thing. Let's move on. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtam
सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो
matta smrite jnanamapohanam sham
मत्तः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च
vedesha sarvairahameva vedyo
वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो
vedanta kridveda videva chaham.
वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम्.
So Our smriti, memory, and jnanam, knowledge, comes from him. Why? Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. Hridi means heart, sannivishto means established. So the Lord is situated, sannivishtaha, situated or established in our heart. How can you escape from him? 24/7 is monitoring you. And your memory and your forgetfulness comes from him. That's why from time to time, right, I forget, I go to internet and look up that keyword. Why? Krishna is saying that memory comes from me. Whether you have great memory or poor memory. Thank you, Krishna. Vedesha sarvar ahameva vedyo. What is the purpose of Veda? To understand him. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedas. Krishna is saying, I write these Vedas. Of course, he comes as Veda Vyas to write them, because Lord Krishna has nothing to do actually with the material world. He's simply smiling and enjoying in the spiritual world. Whenever there is some need to compile the Vedas or some rascals are causing destruction, he will send one of his energy. So for Corona, Krishna doesn't have to come in person to create Corona. Mayadevi department. Mayadevi will say, people are behaving very bad right now. I'll introduce something in the system to trouble them a little bit so that they come to their senses. Just like kids don't listen, what will parent do? They'll give them a little bit temporary trouble. Time out or beat them with a stick, especially in India or China. In America, you don't beat anybody with stick. And the kid will sue you because it's a strange legal system. One of the reasons we have so many deaths here is because too much freedom, right? In China, they said nothing doing, everybody sit at home and they control Corona. Here, people are saying, free country, I will go out. They go out, they catch Corona and come and infect other people. So freedom is good and bad also, in a way. Lord is all-pervading and localized. All-pervading is Brahman. Localized is, what is localized?
Paramatma.
Paramatma, yeah. You know this. You are just too shy to say it. Localized Paramatma. Oh, going too fast. Localized in every heart. That person is called localized Paramatma. Right? Vedas give the right direction so that they can properly mold their lives. What is the purpose of Vedas? To mold your lives. Right? If you don't mold your life, the life will mold you. It will beat you right and left. So he comes as an incarnation as Vyasadeva to compile the Vedanta Sutra. This Vedanta Sutra is very interesting actually. If you have time, which is rare, you can read the Vedanta Sutra. Athatho Brahma Jignasa. That is just the description. I was looking for the shlokas. The first one is Athato Brahma Jignasa. Second is Janmadiyasya Yataha. In this way, it gives very, very cryptic. Cryptic means very brief statements. But you and I won't understand that. That's why all these other books like Srimad Bhagavatam, they give more weightage. Even the Baha'i people are studying Vedanta Sutra. So somebody called David Bruce Hughes, his initiated name is Sri Gaura Hari Dasanudas Babaji. So he translated this with the Govinda Bhashya commentary of Baladev Vidyabhushana. Sutra 1.1. I don't want 2.1. I don't know why they are starting with 2.1 directly. See, directly they are going to Srimad Bhagavatam. Supreme Personality of Godhead in the spiritual world, Lord Krishna states in Srimad Bhagavatam. So this must be written by an ISKCON person, because only in ISKCON people say Supreme Personality of Godhead. Other people just say God. So this is definitely a ISKCON production. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.33. The material nature of Pradhana is nothing but a transformation of the cosmic root substance Brahman. Brahman is completely spiritual, therefore, before the Lord manifests in the material creation, only the Brahman and spiritual world exist. At the time of creation, Supreme Personality of Godhead allocates a portion of his eternal spiritual energy and transforms it into Pradhan. Yeah, this is definitely ISKCON language. So I will save it. Anything that is worth saving, we should save it.
Prabhu, I read one Vedanta Sutra commentary by one of the, I think the Shankaracharya's disciples or something. It was absolute nonsense.
Yeah. If you read Shankaracharya's, Shankaracharya himself says, right, that he came to trick us. Yeah. So keep going, sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, it was just absolute nonsense. So I couldn't, I found it very unpalatable. So if you can share this one out, Prabhu, because I was trying to find something that was bona fide translate or a bona fide explanation. If you can just share it out, that'll be great.
Yeah, this is ironically on the Baha'i studies, but the person who wrote seems to be an ISKCON person. So I'll share it in our group chat. Yeah, because they use the term Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Vedanta rejects the Sankhya Adhikarna one. Yeah, this looks a little well-researched, bona fide aspect of Vedanta Sutra. Let's see if there is the first one, Athato Brahma Jignasa. Now, this is not like the sutras itself. It is more the commentary on the sutras. It's like somebody's PhD paper. Okay, I sent it in that one. The commentation on Vedanta Sutra by Vyasadeva gives the real understanding. Supreme Lord is full for deliverance of conditioned soul. He is a supplier and digester of foodstuffs. How do we know this? Supplier and digester of foodstuffs? Last verse, right? Pachanti annam chaturvidam means I digest 4 types of food. So not only the Lord gave us the body, but he gets into us as Paramatma and he does the dirty job of digesting the food that we eat. Get the point? So how can you be independent from the Lord? He's providing you food and he's digesting the food. And he's a monitor 24/7 while you are sleeping also, he's monitoring you. And he's the witness. Upadrishta Anumantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaram. Upadrishta means overseeing, Anumanta means permitting. Antapravishtaha Shasta Jananam. Living entity forgets as soon as he quits his present body but begins his work again. So we forgot what we were in the last lifetime and we are again continuing the journey. Struggling and struggling. Karshati. Remember when we started this class 8 or 9 verses ago? Krishna says, Karshati. We are all struggling with these 6 senses which include the mind. Mind is also a sense. Living entity enjoys or suffers in this world according to dictation from Supreme Lord, situated locally in the heart as Paramatma. So we are getting dictations from the Lord. Do this. Like in this old movie, Dara Singh, in one of the old movies, he says, Pahali pukar Paramatma ki hoti hai. Means the very first call is the call from Paramatma. But we usually ignore. We say, hey, Paramatma, don't do. Like sometimes you have this notion, right? Should I do this or not do this? And you get from internal call, say, don't do it. It happened to me one time. but I ignored that call and I drove and I got into a car accident. Right? So we have to actually, understand this subject matter like that. We receive the opportunity to understand Vedas from him. So it's not just like from a pure perspective, hey, should I go drive in the car or not, where we take directions from Paramatma. No, we take it, that yes, but more importantly, we need to understand the Veda, because what are the Vedas again? I wrote it in my notes. What are the Vedas again? Vedas are right direction to people so that they can properly mold their life. Right? We have to mold our life. Right now there is direction, rudderless. On one hand, Corona is beating you. Other hand, all these riots, Black Lives Matter, police killing the, disproportionately the black criminals. Of course, everybody is a criminal in the material world. But apparently, due to their past karma or whatever, they are getting targeted more. Right? But the response is also pretty bad. So if you just loot a shop or burn something down, is that the solution? Maybe not. So why does he present the Vedic knowledge? Because a living entity individually needs to understand Krishna, right? It's not like it's optional. It's not like, oh, Krishna consciousness is optional. No, it is mandatory. You know what mandatory means? Compulsory. Needs to understand Krishna. So how is he attained? Prabhupada gives 3 techniques. What are the 3 techniques? Number 1, performance of Vedic rituals. Number 2, discussion of Vedic philosophy. That's what we are doing right now, right? We are discussing amongst like-minded people. And number 3, worship of Lord in devotional service. Means seva. You're serving the Lord by doing aarti, by cooking for him. You have to do all 3. Rituals, less so. Because rituals are all contaminated in Kali Yuga. You cannot even get proper, like, one of the rituals says you have to use Ganges water, and then you take tap water from Redmond or Bellevue because there's no Ganges water like that. So rituals are challenging, right? So since rituals are challenging, we have to think of alternate ways. This is challenging in our age. Discussion of phase is very much possible, actually. Possible through online discussion, right? Worship of the Lord is also possible. Who says it's not? You can have an altar at home and worship the Lord. You're all doing it to a certain extent, but you're not doing it perfectly, right? That is where we need to get Vedic knowledge on what is the right way. And in Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Kali doshe nidhe rajan. You remember this verse from 4 weeks ago? Anybody remember? Kali, end of Kali. What happened to that verse? Kali doshe nidhe rajan. I thought I copied it. Yeah, here it is. Kaler doshe nidhe rajan asti eko mahan gunaha. Kirtanat eva krishnasya mukta sangaha param vrajet. One can go to Supreme Planet simply by chanting a Hare Krishna mantra. Especially meant for people of this age. Special advantage of the age that simply by chanting, one can become purified of all material contamination. and return home back to Godhead. There is no doubt about this. So with that, let's chant Hare Krishna mantra.